Hello, this is Boset, and here we're going to do some Star Trek Online. Now, as said previously before on the previous episode, we are going to now play some Star Trek Online. And this character has already been made before, and so we now can delve into it. Let's go and engage. Beaming out for coolness. And of course, if you have already went through this before, you will see this window pop up. If you haven't, well then you won't see this at all. For convenience sakes, I'm just going to play the tutorial. That's what you're here for. You're going to go through the tutorial anyway if you are new to the game and the first time playing the game. And here's the tutorial.
After I left Starfleet, I made it my life's work to reunite the Romulans with their Vulcan brothers. For many years, I lived among them and waged a campaign of peace. Live long. 21 years ago, the star of the Hova system went supernova and sent a wave of devastation across the quadrant. I promised to save the Romulan homeworld. I failed. The planets Romulus and Remus were destroyed. Countless billions were killed. My home, my friends, my life, all are memories. Time does not stop for one man, and neither does history. The chaos in Romulan space gave the Klingon Empire an opportunity to expand its territory. Today, Jimpak, the Chancellor of the High Council, traded diplomacy for the tip of a blade. Only in battle, Jimpak says, is a Klingon truly Klingon. The Federation did its utmost to preserve its alliance with the Klingons, but war was inevitable. Romulans want revenge for their lost world. The Dominion is rebuilding its forces. Now the Borg have reappeared and attacked the Vega colony. Resistance is futile. The Alpha Quadrant balances on the edge of ruin. The fate of the galaxy rests in your hands.
And that is the free-to-play trailer for Star Trek Online. As you can see, you are actually in the armory area if you're tactical. By hitting the N button or key on your keyboard, you can actually see the entire map. Right now, you are in this room. Across the way, you can see the medical lab or science lab. And of course, to the left or right, depending on where you start, is the engineering section where the engine room is at. Engine room is where you start at if you're engineers, science lab if you're science, and of course armory if you are tactical. The tutorial here is of the little help window. It pops up for any new character or any character who pops up in the tutorials. The Welcome to Star Trek tutorial. WASD, which basically W for forward, A and D is to step left or right. As you can see, it doesn't do that. In fact, step left or right, you had to hit the Q for left, E for right. That is actually to strafe, as they call it. In truth, you actually only have to go, A is to turn left. Yeah, I meant to say something. Somehow meant to say something different, but anyways. A is to turn left, D is to turn right. As you can see, yes, your hip is trying to catch up with you. It's a bit of an odd personal thing to see, but oh well. As you can see, anything with the little exclamation mark with the circle above their head means it's important and you can talk to them. Moving keys, and of course holding the right mouse button allows you to look around freely. Woo. You can also do the same with the left mouse button, except your character does not move with you. And of course, what I just did here is your tool tray. You can actually maximize or limit yourself of how many trays you want available. On default, you are stuck with one tray. You can actually expand it where 2 trays available, or in a total of 3 trays. If you are indeed ground-centric, and you do a lot of things on the ground, you may want to have 3 trays open. But I personally would like to have just 2 trays up. It actually helps. And in order for you to actually move stuff around on your tool tray, you click and hold your right mouse button. As you can see I actually do have something right here. It is the resuscitation button. That means that you can actually revive a fallen comrade. That means everyone can revive. But there is a downside to it. They don't get full health when you do it, and science doesn't get any better on it, which is sad. You can also do the same thing, but however, when you do have a power hold on your right mouse button, you can actually hold it over another power or thing on an icon and release. It swap places. That can be helpful. Now of course you can actually touch this button over here to switch your weapons. Now I'm fighting with my fist. Now I'm fighting with a phaser. This button here is to holster and draw, but in truth you don't even need to click those buttons on your toolbar. In fact, pressing the H button does the same thing for holstering and draw, and pressing the Z button actually switches your weapon. These are needed to know bases, and you need to know. Let's head up to the Chief of Security over here. Look at this. A window popped up, and guess what? It says press F or select to give a report. Well, let's go ahead and press or select this option. As you can see, you can actually see in more detail of who you're talking to. Now this is only available for NPCs, and this is actually a godsend. We actually are very happy. These things do move and give emotions on the situation, thus giving their emotions. You cannot rotate the appearance on them. Oh, excuse me. But they do move. As you can see, she blinks, moves her eyes, and moves a little bit as it's staying. Ooh, excuse me, a hiccup. As if standing there. You can actually, ooh. That'll be fine. You can actually click continue when you're done reading and through the entire thing. Another thing comes up, and I already told you about the map button. Move your character out into the hallway and you get this. Some doors will open if you approach them. Obviously you can tell which doors open if there's a way to go into it when you look at the map. That's what they don't tell you. Alright things, you have to go to this direction where my character is facing. It is imperative. Shift button, if you were to press it while moving, you actually sprint. This actually makes you move faster. Now just to let you know, in order to actually go through your list of things you can do, thus missions, you hit the J button. Right now you can actually see a whole bunch of stuff, including PvE, PvP queues. You can also see episodes. Right now, we're at the beginning. You can see today's events. That's right, there are events. In order for you to do this event, it says shuttle. Although it's cut off, it says shuttle. That means you had to be in a shuttle. Now I'll talk later about everything else. Episodes! Guess what? You're in the Klingon War. Everyone starts out on this. Even if you did create a character and gone through it. Right, enough babbling from my end. Let's continue forward. Go through the turbolift to the bridge. Walk out the bridge or jog out of the bridge and you can see everything is in red alert. And there on the main viewer is the Borg cube. I gotta admit, I like this. And I have this bridge. which we could do it in red alert, but we can't. Go up to the captain and be able to talk to him. And once you're done talking with him, you can go to the console here. Nifty, you can see where you can actually interact by it actually glowing. And of course, hail the USS Kittimer. Look, you got Bajoran. Anyways, go through the dialogue.
This is the emergency medical hologram aboard the USS Kittimer. I am requesting assistance from any Federation vessel in range. The Kittimer is being overwhelmed by Borg boarding parties. These Borg are different than the ones in my history records. They seem disconnected somehow. They're strange, but still quite dangerous.
Okay, that was dialogue. This game does have dialogue. And certain things do have dialogue, as we'll go through later.
I've lost contact with the bridge.
Basically, you are to go down to the USS Kittimer, which is a noble class assault cruiser. What is an assault cruiser, you ask? That's the Sovereign. Amazing! Anyways, yes, you go through the entire thing. You go to the transporter room. And basically, you go down any turbo lift. I suggest you go to the closest ones unless you want to look around the bridge. I like this bridge. Oh yeah, sprint makes you run faster. That means you could go to places faster. Talk to the transporter chief in order for you to actually go over to the Kittimer. And here, but you do get interactions by area as well, so be cautious. And of course, explore everything. There's things called accolades, and you get bonus stuff for them. Now of course, beam over to the USS Kittimer, and we can start this. Loading screen. That was a cool scene to actually look into. Now looking around, this place is pretty much damaged, and here's the EMH. Let's go ahead and talk to the EMH. But first, let's take a look at that shuttle bay again. Hey, I've seen that shuttle. Where was that from? Hey, that's the Danube runabout from Deep Space Nine. You can see them fighting Borg, these exploding, and yeah, you can't interact with them. But they're there for you to see, but you can't get to it. The map is basically a cheat. But hey, if you can find a way to get there, send a picture. I'll be happy. You talk to this guy and be able to scan at least one crew
Data
member.
will be uploaded to me automatically. There are advantages to being a hologram. When you're done, report back to me.
Yeah, sometimes the dialogue actually does continue even after you close the window. That's the downside. But hey, this is still an enjoyable game. Scan the crew member, and you will have to talk to him again. Yes, you do some running around.
Not bad, Ensign. Lieutenant Thelis is working. I have 75 million gigaquads of computer memory and an
Yes, he
extensive
won't
library
shut
of
up
files
like
on
the
military
previous
tactics and
doctor.
command strategies. I believe I can spare a few bits of processing power for you.
Of course.
There is an 88.47% chance
But she
that
shut
you
up.
will need my help.
Anyways, look at this, where my mouse is at. On the upper right corner, you see the mini-map. Right now, it's actually currently zoomed in. You can actually use your wheel mouse to actually zoom in and out, including in and out of the map area. It's better than just clicking on these. You can zoom out to see more of what you need to do. Like you said, you can talk to this guy, Lieutenant Thelis. He looks absolutely worried. So you go through one thing and another. You talk to him, and guess what? It tells you how to actually work the consoles. There's no actual minigame for the consoles, but it makes you feel like you're doing something. Use the console, and guess what? You beam up at least 2 of the Borgs there. In fact, guess what? These are the next gen, and Next Gen and Voyager Borg. Huh. I see Borg stuff. I guess they were trying to assimilate, including that cargo container. Oh no, Mars came in, so what should I do? Nothing really. You just gotta go down the line. This is online. Nothing is always set in stone. That means things will respawn. Whoops. Yes, if you double tap a button on any direction, if you hold down the right mouse button and double tap the D button, you will go and roll to the right. Otherwise, do that with the Q and E buttons, and it's a lot easier. Or just good what I did. It's either way is your choice. Use the console and you'll space the board. See? Pretty cool. Okay, that's a glitch. I just saw limbs hop up through the wall. That's not good. And look, there's Commander Davis, the, I think, the first officer for the USS Kinmer. You already head to second level. Let's go down there to Deck 2. Apparently, I think we're on Deck 3. I'm not sure. Apparently this ship doesn't have that much of decks. And he tells you, great, you made it. As far as I can tell, the Borg are up to something in your section that has blocking the, wait a minute. Did I read that right? Nope. In your section that is blocking the communications and our internal sensors. Keep an eye out of any devices that the Borg may be installing in the area that could be causing the effect we're seeing. There should be more periods in that sentence and statements. And of course, look at that! You could go to B, which is shooter mode. If you like to be a shooter, that's fine. The downside about this is that, well, guess what? You miss. If you miss, you really do miss. That means that feels like Star Trek-y. But in this game, if you're not in shooter mode, you hit more often. Quite frankly, you might as well go with that. But you can see though where you shoot at. See? That's a lot of fun. And of course, if you see here 1, 2, and 3, that's basically your weapon powers. 3 is your melee attack, which is a fist palm. Or a palm strike as it's called. You go walking around, and look, there's stuff around. This game wants you to be in first person, or I should be saying shooter mode. Look at that. My rectiles are going red. What does that mean? I can shoot at. Let's go ahead and destroy it. Whoa. Oh, that went away real quick. But hey, you destroyed it. Congratulations. Guess what? You gotta destroy 2 more. Trust me. And before they updated all this, we had to shoot down, what was it, 15 of these things? Yeah, you all got easy. And look, there's actually distance in it. Why is it not glowing red? Why didn't I hit it? Because I am too far away. Now I'm actually close enough. Oh, that Borg got shot back. Let's go ahead and take him down. Let's keep moving forward and destroy this thing. Destroying these things while Borg are near it means they take damage. Let's go do that right now. Boom! Look at the damage you took, and just take him out. Oh, before I do forget, and I probably did. In shooter mode, left mouse button is your primary fire. Your right mouse button is your secondary fire. You can also take access of anything on your tray here. Now you may be asking and wondering, what can I do about accessing my powers while in shooter mode? Simple. Shooter mode. No, that's not it. No. I'm sorry. X is your zoom. That's right, you can actually go sniping. This makes you more accurate. Z is your switching weapons, and C is your crouch. Crouch and zoom, which is your aim button, makes you more accurate and be able to withstand more. What the fuck, do I take it down? Oh well. I'll remember eventually. But they do explain it better than I will on the tutorial windows. Right now I'm just like the RPG standard, which is you can actually control your power tool trays and bars the way you want it to. For me it's a lot easier. And look, you gotta go to deck 3. What does that mean? I guess I was in deck 1. But that doesn't make sense. The lower decks you go, that means... well, it doesn't mean shit at this point because that means we are upside down going up. Who knew? We gotta get to main engineering. Oh noes! Literally oh noes. There's a lot of Borg around us. What should we do? Shoot them all! And they will go after you. And guess what? Neuroblast looks like that. Shooting at his head. But you're asking, what's this thing do? Because you're probably not going to get this, and if you do, you want to know what it does. Lowers their run speed for 13 seconds, 50% chance for 4 seconds of stun. For at least 9.2 seconds. I guess it'll get better once you level up. And of course a 10% chance for expose. What does expose mean? Well, let's find out. Okay, well, expose means there's to be erectile, showing that they are weakened. Sprinting in combat mode or red alert mode makes you run a whole lot faster. Don't have to worry about your secondary power, at least not often. Oh, just to let you know, you don't really get anything from shooting at them all the time. But just to let you know, you do get accolades, which also means you do get bonuses when shooting at them or attacking them. You're now at main engineering where Commander Davis is at. You gotta hold down the bunker and barricade. Oh, look at that, they're already well in the process. You can jump. Yay, you can jump. See, Z and X means you can actually go to aim and be able to squat or crouch. Of course, there's a timer. Some things require to be done within a certain time limit. Now, crouching means I have a dodge percentage gain. And of course, Commander Davis had said that, congratulations for helping us hold down the position. You can actually now go to the transporter room to be able to collect your, guess what? Your bridge officer! You get bridge officers! Heck yeah! What does that mean? Nothing as special. But it's something. Pressing the buttons again gets you out of it. If you actually will walk around and zoom, that means you're walking around aiming all over the place. Once your red alert actually does go away, you can actually holster your weapon as such. And because Star Trek Online has been updated to where you can actually show your unholster animation just like that. But not the holster animation, which is a shame. And look, you can see people! That means social activity! Anyways, they're talking about the Borg drone that they have right there, and you can continue further and look, there's another player! Looks like Science. In fact, he is Science. His name is Eddie. Oh wait, I gotta talk to Commander Davis. Whoops. Misstepped. So that means I gotta go do that. And of course you can keep on shooting them to get an accolade to get better damage. And there's Commander Davis right there. Talk to him. He says, thank you for your help, Ensign. Unfortunately, the Borg and blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. This is a tutorial. You never see or hear about the USS Kittimer ever again. Let alone going back to the Vega colony. So that's actually pretty shame. Oh wait, did I spoil that? Nah, this type of spoil you would like to hear. But you're wondering how come no players actually join into the ships that you want. Simple. Everyone wants to be a captain. Nobody wants to be a chief of engineering. Okay, some people do, but point is people want to be the captain of their own ship, to control it the way they want to. Made simply, you want to be a captain. It's more fun that way. We don't want to be Eve. There's our technician, who happens to be Andorian. Or I'm sorry, not technician, our tactical. Technicians are considered to be that of the engineering department. Next to her is the Vulcan science officer. How cliche. And of course, here's not a cliche, a Boolean engineer. I think he's a Boolean. Oh, well, I can't tell. Now talk to the security officer here, and you can pick... Well, unfortunately, you get stuck with the... I swear, you could actually pick more than just the tactical. In fact, you had an option of all three. Why are they... Well, I guess that means they want the players to have tactical, because they want the players to actually have an advantage when starting out. So I guess it's alright. I mean, it's only the tactical officer you only get, and it's nothing important. The powers look good, right? Well, I'll get back to that later. Right now, the tactical officer is decent, and it's good for tutorial and throughout your lieutenant career. Right now, if you were to put your mouse over on this, you see requirements for next grade for Lieutenant 1. Gain at least, or excess of, 4,219 skill points at this point. But how are we getting the skill points? Because of, you know what? Of quests. Our quests, our missions give us skill points. Isn't that awesome? Whatever. Look at this, it says skill up. How do I access this skill stuff? Maybe if I hit the K button. Look at that. Yeah, I know, I'm being a dick here. But in actual truth, yes, you gotta press the K button in order to access your skill tray. Not skill tray, but your skill bar. Window. I can't talk. Anyways, there's a lot of things you can actually access, and looking at this, you can actually focus on space or ground, or both. The way this game is, you gotta select both. You can't have all points into space, and you can't have all points into ground. So, we gotta pick something. Well, at this point, let's go for weapons training. This gives our starship weapons a lot more oomph. That means we can actually do a lot more. Go to the transporter pad and beam up to your ship. And now we're... Bleh, I can't talk. Now we're in the Vega system. Your bridge officer will be talking to you and basically telling you you're acting captain. And right now, she tries to give you the whole thing about getting to your next point. The USSC Cole does contact you and wants you to actually get survivors from these ships. Now, you can actually go through the get underway or learn ship movement. I can easily tell you that, and so does the game anyways. And look, you can increase by hitting the Q and E button. Q makes you go backwards. E makes you go forward. This current ship, you may notice this from the Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, the Miranda refit, or known as the Reliant ship. This ship is pretty nice. And the ship next to me was the Centaur class from the next gen. One thing they don't tell you, hitting R maxes your impulse speed to the maximum. This button here is your full impulse. And look, see, I told you the game will help you. WASD, it still has support in this game. W is the pitch down. That means it's reverse and up and down. However, left and right is still the same for A and D. Now we're next to the beam. I'm sorry. Right now we're next to the Kelvin. So go ahead and beam survivors from the Kelvin. It's also the same USS Kelvin. Not exactly the same class, but it is still the same name from the latest Star Trek movie of the USS Kelvin that was actually destroyed. And look at that. What was that? Apparently, by having my mouse, having my camera being near there to the aft of the ship, it actually went center behind it. And look at all these ship parts all around us. Jeez, this many ship parts all around us? That must mean the entire fleet was destroyed. That's bad. Oh, and this is the Akira class. Yes, poor ship. We are next to the Oakland. Basically, you can click on it and hit exit or click away. Now, of course, we need to get to our destinations real fast, so we hit the full impulse. Oh, just a little hint here. Full impulse is actually good if you want to get to places fast. However, the downside is that you don't want to be in full impulse by the time you do activate your weapons, because that means all of your powers goes directly. All your powers go directly to engines. So what does that mean? Simple. Don't go full impulse into combat. Survival tip number 1. Now that we're actually next to the sea coal, or near it, we can beam survivors over, and now we can actually keep going. Now we're getting a call from the USS Renown. And we gotta head over there in order to get refitted. Basically refit for combat. So let's head over there. Shouldn't really take too much. Now tutorial wise, yes, we can actually be fine. Now this beauty of a ship over here, although very damaged, with literally with venting plasma, this specific ship is known as the Typhoon class starship. This one is actually a majestic refit. Literally, it's a majestic refit. I really wish this ship is in the game, but it's more science orientated, so who knows. Commence repair and supplies, and guess what? We actually do have access. Normally you start out at a balance of 50 by 50. With the powers that we actually selected, we get more benefits. 51. What does that mean? Absolutely nothing, but it's actually pretty still helpful. Oh well. Now we are to warp to the Borg at the Vega system. We are going to be fighting damaged probes. Again, we are facing damaged probes. Weapons back online. I can tell you one thing. Every single last weapon, unless specifically told or done in the game, each weapon including phasers and well, your beam arrays, cannons, and your torpedoes will always reach 10,000, well, let's say 10,000 meter or 10 km. And everything is based on km. Not everything is actually proportionate, just to let you know. Oh, and this ship in front of me is known as the Shakira class. It's supposed to be the Miranda refit. As you can see, it actually looks very similar to that of the Miranda, except it is different. It is slightly longer, more bulkier, and more damaging. But in the statistics in the game, it's still the same thing. You can still see the Connie's Constitution ship classes all over the place. See? The original series Constitution Hulk. Now you're wondering, how did I get these weapons here on my weapon tray, over here, to be green? You right click. That means auto fire. Later on you develop your own process of what should be auto fire and what should not. Pressing M, you can actually see the map here. You can actually zoom out. As you can see, certain things light up differently. I don't know why, I guess it's just the way it is. But however, do go to your target, any target. You got destroyed 2 of these damaged probes. They are damaged, they don't repair, they do, it's very slowly. Enough for us to take it out. They don't fire back, which is a good thing. You want to learn how to fire. Now that we actually gone through our calibration of our weapons, we can actually now have access to the power tray and the bridge officers. Technically, you cannot warp in the game while red alert. That means leaving the system. You can't go underneath full impulse while in red alert. It just makes it simpler for the game. Now we are to warp to active Borg. Pretty cool. Warping in our pretty ship. Look at that, we're actually here. Yes, you see NPCs being fired upon by a Borg. They do die, but you're not going to care. And of course, if you're reading this here, that's actually a lie. The game year is 2409. The actual final year from the movies and TV series was 2387, which was the end of Nemesis. So that's a lie. We're not several years past Wolf 359. We're actually about near half a decade. But anyways, hitting the X button, you can actually go through the main menu. Hit rearrange HUD and you can actually move things around. Like what I'm doing right now. I'm moving it around for my convenience. You can move around for your convenience. Everything is for convenience. You can actually play around with things or just make it a world of pain for you. Either way, it's convenience. You can actually go all the way to 3 panels. Sometimes you want to, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you could go for 2. What's the difference between 1 and 2? Actually, you may want to go with just 2. You don't need 3 unless you are needing 3. Oh look. See, Shakira class frigate. That's right, you're in a frigate, which is also classified in the game as a light cruiser. Right now, you really don't need anything into the power trays. In order for you to do more damage, you actually do siphon your powers through as more power to weapons. That means you will go slower and your auxiliary is slower. Your science abilities runs on auxiliary. Engines means you will be moving slower and turn rate is slower. But you can actually do more damage. Higher power your shields, the faster you do recover. And we're going to now do zappity zap 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 at the Borg. That was high yield 1. You shoot 2 torpedoes. The red torpedo does look like that of the Next Gen and the Star Trek movies. Your weapons will miss. There is no first-person shooter on this. You really don't want to. You will miss. Oh, and if you do broadside with this, you drain more of your weapon's power. Balance means that you can actually run around with balanced weapons, shields, and everything. That means you're running around in a constant speed. Now go ahead and beam down to the Vega colony, which makes it simple. This window actually does show up as your away team you can select. Right now you only have yourself and your bridge officer. Let's go ahead and head down there. Immediately upon being down, you do see that you are being attacked, or not exactly you, but the colony itself. Right now there are barricades around and you gotta do something about it. Hang on for a second, I'll be right back.